Hi everybody, this is Dee at Aloha Astro. Let's take a look at today's new moon in Libra, October 16th, 2020. It occurred at 3:31 p.m. Eastern Time at 23 degrees 53 minutes of Libra. And supposedly it is a super new moon. So I found this picture here, Osiris and Isis, as an illustration by Jane Addams, and this is the address for her blog, where she has a bunch of different writings on Osiris and Isis. Let's take a look at what I've written here. New moon in Libra, Friday, October 16th, invites you to review your relationships and become aware of your part in them as the moon joins the sun in Libra, forming a T-square with Mars retrograde in Aries and Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn. The true meaning and purpose of a relationship may also be revealed as the moon and sun create a supportive trine to the North Node in Gemini. For lovers with challenges standing in the way of being together, Venus in Virgo opposing Neptune in Pisces blends unrequited longing with the realistic question of how to become as one, while Mercury retrograde in Scorpio opposing Uranus in Taurus increases the impulse toward radical change. Mercury retrograde in Scorpio can cast your thoughts back to someone magnetic from the past, and Mars retrograde in assertive Aries is pushing you to try again. The Libra season does highlight love, and it is possible that with Uranus trine to Venus, this time will be different. This new moon also encourages integration of your own light and shadow so that you experience emotional healing and feel whole. Consider shamanic soul retrieval work to bring fragmented aspects of your psyche stalled in other places, times, back to who, where you are in the present. The word of the new moon in Libra is reunification. So let's take a look at Planet Watcher and see how that looks, how everything looks. And you can see we've got a bunch of different aspects going on all over the place, and our planets are scattered everywhere. So there's a lot of energy going on, and some of it reads like good news and some of it reads like bad news. Basically, it's a busy time. There's a lot of distraction and highs and lows to every day. You can choose to look at things positively or choose to be upset over things. It really is choice. And one thing that this new moon is pointing out is for you to choose and decide how you are going to act and respond to things, because we do have this T-square here with the moon and the sun conjunct opposing retrograde Mars in Aries, and this is a very active and reactive Mars, and it is under a lot of pressure or tension in that opposition and in the square to Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. And overall, people feel like it's time for a change, but maybe we just don't know how we want it to be, but we know we want some change. Also, people may be reacting or responding in unpredictable ways due to the Uranian energy here with that planet opposing Mercury. And Scorpio, the tendency here is to think in all or nothing. The shades of gray in between don't always show under the Scorpio influence. And the other thing is that Scorpio rules what is hidden or secret, what people keep submerged and do not show. So there can be surprise news, there can be secrets that come out, or a sudden understanding of how things really are. Now, Taurus and Scorpio energy also has rulership over second house of personal finances, that's Taurus, and Scorpio rules the 8th house, and the things that the 8th house encompasses, there's a lot. Sex, death, taxes, metaphysics, and the occult, business partnerships, investments, and inheritances. The 8th house, we merge our boundaries and we share our assets with other people. So it's a deeply intimate house, and many of the things that the 8th house rules used to be considered taboo. We would not speak about those things in public or at the dinner table. Nowadays, our society is much more open and those things are discussed. But for many people, they are still hot points. They're serious issues. The issue of commitment can definitely be amplified while we have this sextile here to Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn. And you may feel under pressure to make up your mind about relationships, and you might be questioning things like the actual values that you hold or somebody else holds, and whether you are still in alignment in terms of values. The second and the eighth houses are not just about money, but they're about our values and what is important to us. So reconsidering your values would be an important thing. Considering the integrity of other people might be an important thing. Are they lining up between what they're saying and what they're doing, and how they are being, how they're actually living their lives? That's an important question. Let's see, we've got this opposition here with Venus and Neptune, and that can be sometimes letting something go or letting somebody go because it's better that way, even though it's painful or uncomfortable. Virgo's very practical, and Neptune is very idealistic, and they are in opposition right now, creating that wanting things to be perfect, but presenting the question of how. How is this going to happen? How can it be perfect? How do I need to maybe work on myself in order to be more loving, forgiving, or tolerant, patient, any of those qualities that come up under the Virgo and Pisces influence. And the houses that those signs represent is the 12th house of the dream state, the subconscious, other planes of existence, and the 6th house, which has to do with the physical body, physical health, daily habits and routines, nutrition, diet, exercise. This is very real down here in the 6th house. It's service related and it's realistic. And in the 12th house, it has more to do with a more spiritual side, or the psychic and spiritual side of life. You may need to address what's going on inside you right now in order to heal what's going on the physical. If you are out of balance in that area, then you may need to pay attention to what your spirit's telling you so that you can feel better on the physical level. And let's take a look at the Libra energy. That's 7th house energy, one-on-one relationships. And Aries, that's 1st house energy. That's about the self. So self and the other. And how's it all going to work? And if you have any challenges in moving it forward due to the T-square, what are the goals? Do you both want the same thing? And are two people willing to work at commitments or not? So there may be some relationships that get together right now, particularly ones that might be from the past, where people have worked on themselves and they are willing to do things differently and change. And there are other relationships that may be ending now if they have gone past their due date and the two people no longer hold the same values. And those relationships don't have to be just romantic. This can also be about work and career. These Capricorn planets have a lot to do with your reputation and standing out there in the world. Rules the 10th house of career. So there's a lot going on, and it just feels like you are being pulled in a lot of different directions, but it may be important to evaluate, reevaluate while you have these retrogrades of Mercury and Mars, and then come to your decisions. We do have a nice trine going on between the new moon, moon and sun, and the north node in Gemini. And Gemini itself presents two paths or multiple options. Gemini is a mutable, adaptable air sign. And it's a placement. It's actually not a planet, but the north node has a lot to do with your destiny, fate, the future of your life, the things that are very important to you, and this quincunx being formed and the trine being formed and the square all focus a lot of energy toward that north node. There may be some releasing or letting go of somebody or something that perhaps you did love, but maybe now it no longer serves you to be aligned with that person or that organization because you have other goals, other plans, or it's just not a good fit anymore. So a lot of fate determining things can take place at this new moon because of the energy all pointing toward that north node. Oh, and the sextile to Mars in Aries. So it is up to you as to what you want to do. Definitely communicate, and don't be afraid to communicate, because people won't know what's going on unless you communicate. And your wishes might not be fulfilled and your questions answered unless you actually ask. We do have a trine going on between Mercury and Neptune, and Mercury makes the sextile to the Capricorn planets. Neptune makes the sextile to the Capricorn planets. Clear thoughts, plans, and communication are going to yield some results. Holding it all in and not communicating is going to probably lead to misunderstanding or you not getting what you want. So don't be afraid to communicate. Let's take a look at the Sabian symbol and see what that has to tell us. So we round up to 24 degrees, a butterfly with a third wing on its left side. Keynote: the ability to develop for inner strengthening new modes of response to basic life situations. The butterfly is the ancient and traditional symbol of the results of the process of spiritual rebirth. If the butterfly has 3 wings instead of 2, a special development of an aspect of the spiritual life is shown. 3 is a symbol of fulfillment. Some power has been added to the normal spiritual life of the individual person. The left side usually refers to the instinctual field of the consciousness, but it is also the heart's side. A new strength is shown, perhaps as yet unrealized. A 4th stage symbol usually refers to some kind of technique or technical achievement. What is implied here is that the contact with the revivifying life force, the CF, the 1st stage symbol, can result in the appearance of a new faculty, the use of which may not as yet be consciously evaluated. Indeed, it is the establishment of such a contact which constitutes a technique for original mutation. It tells us to refer back to the 1st stage symbol. 3rd stage. Here's the 1st stage. A Sunday crowd enjoying the beach. A revivifying contact with the mother force of nature and of social togetherness. And the keynote there: oceanic feeling born of attunement to the most basic rhythms of existence at whatever level it might be. So here is a foundation of development, and in the stage that we're at right now with the moon, there is a mutation along the lines of development that gives us something that we might not be fully aware of yet. And if anything that the new moon does, it does bring us to the darkness, turn us within, so that we can discover something that comes to light. When the light returns, when the crescent returns, and we come to an awareness, we have a new beginning, and we may literally be, under this new moon, leveling up in some way that we might not even be aware of yet. And definitely most of the major areas of life are highlighted. Self and another, our finances and values, career, where we are out there in the world, what is most important to our destiny, what do we want to express in this life, our health on both an emotional and a physical level, spiritual health, physical health. So we're basically dealing with everything right now, and that is a lot to juggle. So definitely do take time to nurture yourself. Also work at supporting your relationships and understanding your relationships and understanding your role in relationships and whether you want to be where you are or somewhere else. and be honest, be authentic, and tell the truth, even if it's shocking or if it temporarily hurts. It is definitely better than deception. Anyway, until we talk again at the full moon, which occurs on Halloween on a Saturday in Taurus, be safe, be careful these next 2 weeks while we have both Mercury and Mars retrograde. Double check all your travel plans. Make sure you give yourself plenty of time to arrive at your destination. Be patient with other people on the road. And stay safe, stay healthy, and I will talk to you soon.